Welcome to Talk Recapped. Let's start a movie review. This is the story set during World War II, after the war had ended, when the Soviet Union captured all the German soldiers and held them as prisoners. The movie begins by showing a prison camp in Siberia, filled with prisoners who are all German soldiers. The war had ended, and these soldiers were brought here as captives to perform laborious tasks. Among these prisoners is one man named Clemens Forel, who has been sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment. This means he must endure hard labor for the next 25 years. However, Clemens desperately wants to escape because he longs to reunite with his wife and daughter. Although the security at the camp is not extremely strict, escaping seems nearly impossible due to the freezing cold and the vast expanse of snow surrounding the camp. Any prisoner who attempts to flee is almost certain to die from the harsh weather conditions. Despite knowing this, Clemens is determined to escape. One night, he seizes an opportunity and hides in a coal transport vehicle to make his getaway. During the journey, he looks up at the stars and feels a sense of joy and freedom, but suddenly the train stops. When Clemens peeks out, a Soviet officer spots him, leading to his recapture. He is taken back to the camp and locked inside a small underground cell with freezing temperatures and no food. Surprisingly, Clemens survives the torture, and after 3 days, the warden releases him. The warden tells him that his fellow prisoners have been waiting for him, but when Clemens returns to them, they are furious. Because of Clemens's escape attempt, none of them were given food for 3 days. They beat Clemens severely, leaving him injured. A doctor, who is also a prisoner, tends to Clemens's wounds. Clemens confides in the doctor that he cannot stay there and wants to return to his wife and daughter in Germany. The doctor warns him that escaping is nearly impossible, and even if he manages to escape, the cold will likely kill him. However, he also reveals the harsh truth: staying in the camp is no better, as the lead mining work exposes prisoners to poisonous substances, which eventually lead to fatal illnesses. The doctor, who is already suffering from such an illness, encourages Clemens to escape and provides him with warm clothes, shoes, a gun, and a map. He also gives Clemens a lunchbox, asking him to deliver it to his family and inform them of his death if he successfully escapes. The doctor had once dreamed of escaping himself, but now, facing imminent death, he passes his escape plans to Clemens. That night, a snowstorm provides Clemens with another chance to flee. This time, he successfully escapes, but the warden discovers his disappearance the next morning. When the warden interrogates the doctor, he finds that the doctor has already died. Furious, the warden orders his soldiers to search for Clemens, but they fail to locate him. They assume Clemens must have died in the freezing cold. Meanwhile, Clemens continues to trek through the snow, enduring harsh conditions. 9 days into his journey, he hears dogs barking and imagines being chased by a sled team. Overwhelmed, he collapses, only to wake up and realize it was a nightmare. Exhausted and starving, Clemens struggles to survive. One day, he spots a seal and tries to shoot it with his last bullet but misses. He chases the seal, and just before it disappears, he takes one final shot and kills it. For the first time in days, Clemens has food to eat, giving him the strength to continue. Using a compass and talking to himself to stay mentally alert, Clemens keeps moving for months. Eventually, he reaches an area with dried trees, marking his escape from the Arctic wilderness. At the same time, the warden remains convinced that Clemens is alive and continues searching for him. Clemens encounters 2 men searching for gold and joins them. They build a wooden raft and sail down a river, but the strong current causes one of the men to fall into the water. Clemens risks his life to save him, but the other man selfishly takes the raft and abandons them. When Clemens and the rescued man finally catch up with him, they realize he intended to keep all the gold for himself. Furious, the rescued man kills the traitor. Clemens and his companion continued their journey through forests and snowy landscapes. However, their bond weakens when the man becomes paranoid, thinking Clemens wants to steal his gold. They fight, and Clemens falls off a cliff, losing consciousness. Waking up to the sound of wolves, Clemens climbs a tree to escape but is attacked. Just as the wolves close in, local hunters arrive and save him. They take Clemens to their village and care for him. However, Soviet soldiers soon inform the villagers that a German prisoner has escaped, warning them not to shelter him. Fearing for his safety, the villagers give Clemens food and a dog to accompany him. Clemens and the dog continued their journey, walking for over a year. One day, they reach a mill where workers recognize Clemens and turn him over to their owner. The owner, moved by Clemens's story, decides to help him. He puts Clemens on a train to escape the Soviet territory. At a station, Clemens notices Soviet soldiers waiting for him. Realizing he has been betrayed, he escapes with his dog before being captured. Soldiers chase him, but Clemens manages to hide on a moving train. Sadly, he hears gunshots and realizes his dog has been killed. Heartbroken, Clemens keeps running. Months later, Clemens reaches Central Asia. Hungry and penniless, he encounters kind strangers who give him food and shelter. He meets a Polish Jew who helps him create a fake passport, enabling him to cross the Iranian border. Clemens is ecstatic, believing his long journey is finally over. But as he crosses a bridge, he sees the warden waiting for him. Clemens freezes, thinking his escape has failed. However,